Hi, friends. Welcome back to Transform the Now. I'm Dr. Nathan Pallai with my homie, Dr. Tucker Boyle. What's up?
Hey, I'm doing great. How are you doing, Nate?
Fantastic. Sunny and balmy here today. Probably snow angels in your world. So
Absolutely.
enjoy both aspects there. Dude,
Yep.
speaking of that though, we talked about acceptance last week, and maybe like weather is such a good phenomenon, a natural place to start here. Like, how you doing at accepting the snow in your world right
Oh
here?
man, there's a lot of snow in our world. Utah got hit with the biggest snowstorm in recorded history. I heard, well, maybe not storm, but like the highest amounts of snowfall in 24 hours this last week. And I actually had a cool experience with the weather at the most random place. So I'll just share that really quick. I was at the gas station gassing up one evening, and I don't know how many of y'all have had this experience, but I got out of the car and it was cold outside, and I'm like hurrying to like pay and get the hose in the car, and I put the hose in, and this wind just knifes through me, right? It comes right underneath the cover over the gas pumps, that you stand under, and just hits me. And my body screamed at me like, get in the car. This is miserable. Go sit in the car. And because of our recent conversations and things that we've been thinking about with acceptance and noticing your thoughts and everything, for some reason, I caught myself and my mind screaming at me to get in the car. And I was like, you're just wanting comfort. Yeah, thank you for trying to make me comfortable. But instead of getting in the car, I stopped and I looked toward the wind, this cold wind, instead of running away from it. And the coolest thing happened. Like, I just kind of relaxed into it. And then this light snow was falling, and another breeze came and it blew this light snow underneath the cover that I was standing underneath. And the flakes started to lightly hit my cheeks. And I went from this state of like wanting to flee this moment to just almost this sacred presence of feeling this light snow hitting my cheeks, noticing the beauty of the moment, like felt a lot of stillness inside. And it's one of those moments that's hard to describe. It was just sacred and still and beautiful and timeless. And I don't know how long I stood there, but it turned into something really beautiful. So for me, it was last week we talked about surrender and acceptance. And for me, it was a reminder of what's on the other side of surrender, what's on the other side of acceptance. Just this richness and beauty in life that if I wouldn't have surrendered and I would have dived inside my car and like closed the door and shivered and tried to warm up, I would have missed that moment. So
Wow.
I don't know if that relates
No,
at
that's
all.
cool. But like the gas station holiness, like transforming like these mundane moments. And I don't know if other people are listening, they're like, Tucker's just exceptional. But like I would say from my end that's not the case. I do love you. You're an exceptional human, but like you're not
I'm,
exceptional in this
I'm
front.
so incredibly normal, Nate.
That's facts. And I do love you, but if we as normal human beings just will accept these moments, there's something different that begins to happen. We also had a different conversation, me and you, on the phone this week, talking about like just a new energy. We're so used to processing like life with our analytical mind and having to have everything just right and control everything so that we can feel good. But the crazy thing is, as you surrendered, what I see happening is this new energy flowing in, this new power coming in that is almost something like beyond what your analytical mind is bringing to the table, as good as it is to do something powerful there. And that's exciting, and that's an argument we're making for why we participate in this, why we surrender, why we accept it. Does that resonate with your experience
Oh,
there?
absolutely. That new energy, at the gas station. We don't want to get punny here, but the fuel that like came in to my being at that moment was like, oh man, I could stand here in the cold forever, and whatever other problems and stresses were on my mind just disappeared. And I just drove away from the gas station feeling like energized and renewed. And that new energy, it's tuning into a new source of energy. Maybe not the traditional fuel that I've been running on, which is my thoughts and like motivated to just achieve, but it's this fuel that comes in being present in the moment. That's really beautiful.
Well, maybe we talk about this from our neuroscience perspective a little bit. As you're talking about like the ways I've been running before, the fuel I've been running on before, if we go just straight up science, like there are electrical connections that we have in our brain, neural pathways, if you will, and that they're built up because of our experience. And each time we reinforce this neural pathway with a skill or a practice or something we do, it coats that neural pathway with myelin, and then it becomes more rote and more fast and more easy. Like what you participate in regularly builds that neural pathway, right? And so sometimes as somebody's trying to have new experiences with being present, with practicing some of these transformational practices, it can feel a little bit clunky. Like I have 100% been there, and I still feel like I'm stumbling. Like I remembered learning to dribble a basketball when I was a kid, and it was just like slap, 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 and it was totally awkward. Now I can dribble a basketball like I'm not Kobe, but I'm fluent, right? And it's fluid and it's thoughtless. But like creating that new path can feel a little bit clunky. It can feel a little bit off, and maybe they're trying to have these experiences like you're describing at the gas station, but like it's not happening. I just want to say like that's okay. That's normal, and persist in it, because what you're doing is you're developing a new pathway that can lock you into some of this new fuel. What would you say on that? What would you comment on that?
Yeah, I would say that if you're finding barriers, like we often do, you hit a barrier in your mind in trying to get to this receiver mode that we've talked about, or open up and get this new energy. In one way, yeah, that can be kind of hard and difficult. In another way, it can show you the potential to transform your life. The fact that you're hitting a barrier means there's potential for fantastic change and transformation there. If that makes sense. Like on one side, you can be like, yeah, that's a real difficulty. I'm not getting there. On another side, you can be like, that means that the work I'm doing is going to forge a new highway in my brain, open up a new path, and I can expect my life to be completely different after I form this new pathway than it was before, because I'm going to process life through different means. And that's super exciting to me. So on one hand, yeah, those barriers are real and difficult. On another hand, it's like the promise of transformation is there when you find a barrier.
Well, and I felt this in my own life as I've practiced this for a while now. I remember early on feeling really clunky with this, and by no ways perfect right now. But like I just read Malcolm Gladwell's Outliers book, and he talks about like 10,000 hours of practice to acquire a skill and master a skill. And I was like, well, why don't I just give myself some space right here? I'm nowhere close to 10,000 hours. And I was like, I'll just keep working on this here and there and accumulate time. And it works, man. Just spending some time on that.
Totally. So what would you say, Nate, to somebody who's like, 10,000 hours? How long is that going to take me to get here in this type of practice? And I don't know how long it takes to form these pathways, with these practices that we're doing. But what are some things, ideas that help people that might feel disheartened by thinking, oh, I'm going to have to do this for 10,000 hours?
And maybe that's a bad analogy. For me, it was comforting because I was like, oh, I got time. And so
Right.
maybe that was my vision looking at it. But on the other hand, like it doesn't take 10,000 hours to create a new pathway or a new habit, right? Like it just you can do it for 5 minutes a day for 5 days and you will begin to see benefits. That's facts. That's scientifically backed up research right there. And so I wouldn't get overwhelmed by the fact like I'm not going to be there. No. Work on it for 5 minutes a day, here and there, and you're going to begin to feel that. And maybe a different visualization. Michael Singer uses the idea of like a dog with a shock collar, and he gets near the edge and he senses that boundary and it's uncomfortable. But if you're dealing with a really brave dog that just relaxes and moves forward slowly, they'll get out, period. There's nothing that's going to stop them. And then they have the whole wide world to run around. I don't know. Like that. But like, if we are those people and we're bumping up against these boundaries, like there's nothing that's got to be too exceptional here. We just relax and we pay attention and we practice. Like we just practice. And as we practice, the transformation is inevitable. It's going to come here.
Yeah,
Did
that's
that answer your question, or?
yeah, that's really helpful. I mean, I saw studies this week that show that practicing mindfulness type things, these transformative practices that we're practicing, after just 5 days, it shows that people are forming new neural pathways in their brains after 5 days.
Right.
That's so exciting to me. So you don't have to become 10,000 hours concert level pianist in order to see differences in your life. You can see differences just in a few days, and you'll especially start to see it when you start to catch yourself, your own thinking patterns that aren't helpful in your life. And then like, I think with these types of practices that we're doing, there is a really quick uptick in progress once you start to be able to see your own thoughts, discern your own thoughts, and then open up and relax past those barriers, like you said. Then I think progress comes much faster than it does with many other skills that we practice.
Yeah. And I'm going to tell you, like, maybe not all of us are going to be concert level pianists. Maybe not all of us are going to play in the NBA. I'm way too short for that. But like, it's just facts. We can all become, I don't know, concert level mindfulness, present, whatever you want to say right here, transformed beings. Like we can be different, and every single one of us has that capacity.
That's right. Like physiologically, we have that capacity, right? The human brain is built in with the ability for neuroplasticity to change. We all have the neuroplasticity, the ability to change and form new paths. That's the miracle of our brains. And so a lot of times one of the barriers is people like, I just can't do this because, like you said, I'm too short for the NBA. But if you're human and you have a brain, you have the ability to form new pathways, and that's just amazing. So can we talk about one pathway that for me has been really beneficial, Nate?
Let's do it.
Let's talk about the pathways that affect our relationships, specifically pathways relating to empathy and compassion. So there are 3 different types of empathy that we might say. One is cognitive empathy, when you understand something cognitively in your mind that somebody else is going through. There's affective empathy, when you feel the feelings that somebody else is experiencing, or at least being affected in your emotions by what they're going through. And then there's a third type, which might be called empathic concern or compassion, which you feel what they're going through and you want to help. And in this level of empathy, it's really fascinating, because at the other levels of empathy, you might experience some burnout, but in compassion, there isn't any burnout, because it actually accesses some of your brain's wiring that attaches to happiness, which is so like paradoxical. But as you get into compassion, you actually, your heart and your brain start reaching out for the other person, and you feel less stress, less anxiety in your life, the more compassion you experience in your life. So just using this as an example of what we're talking about, we can rewire our brains to experience more compassion than we currently do. If you find that you have some relationships where you're not feeling a lot of empathy, compassion for others, we can do practices to rewire our brain to open up these pathways so that those relationships improve instead of staying in the same neural patterns that we're caught in right now. And to me, that's super exciting. Like, I think of a relationship, I want to improve that relationship. I can practice, build new pathways so that that relationship improves. Does that make sense, Nate? What would you add?
Absolutely. Nothing. Do you have a practice for us on this?
Yeah, let's do a practice. And maybe listeners have heard of a practice called loving kindness meditation. It's also called metta meditation, which means loving kindness. But I thought maybe today we'd practice with these neural pathways, because all of us, I'm guessing, have relationships that we want to improve, and even people that are difficult for us to work with and connect with. So let's work on those pathways today, if that's okay. You ready, Nate?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let's just start by, as we always do, getting yourself in a comfortable position, making sure your spine is straight. And let's just start with a deep, intentional breath. Go ahead and close your eyes if that's easier for you, but take a deep, intentional breath, breathing in, sense of peace, breathing out, relaxation. Take a moment to tune in to your body. Maybe feel the sensations of your body. Feel maybe surface sensations along your skin, your clothing, how it feels. Just tune in and be present physically with your body for a moment. Now, as we lean into this loving kindness practice, we're going to activate a new part of our brain. The default part of our brain usually focuses on ourselves, our life narrative, what's going on for us. And we are going to shift from that to a new way of processing, from a new part of our brain than that normal default place where most of us operate from. So let's take another deep, intentional breath. Let that out. And then I want you to focus your attention on the area around your heart. Just be present with that space. And relax that area around your heart. And then we're going to use some mantras today with this. We're going to start with loving kindness toward ourselves. And I'd invite you to say the following phrases. And as you say them, let this feeling of love and kindness and warmth radiate from your heart into the rest of your body. And here are the phrases. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I have peace. Just repeat those phrases, letting the love and the kindness radiate from your heart into the rest of your body. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I have peace. Go ahead and repeat those a few times on your own at a pace that keeps you engaged in the practice. and focusing on radiating from your heart to every other cell in your body. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I have peace. If you find this practice difficult to say to yourself, that's okay. Don't judge or criticize yourself or say that you're failing. Just bring yourself back to the practice and stick with the practice. It means there's potential for benefit here if you're having a hard time focusing on it. May I be safe. May I be happy. May I have peace. Now let's transition to a loved one in your life. Picture them in front of you and feel their presence there with you. And let's use those same phrases, but directed toward them, radiating warmth and light and love from your heart to every cell in their body. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you have peace. Repeat those phrases as you visualize this person and radiate warmth from your heart toward them. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you have peace. As you do this, notice the feelings in and around your heart as you radiate this toward them. Now let's choose a neutral person. Maybe someone you don't know well, since an acquaintance of yours, but you don't have strong feelings for or against them. Might be somebody that you see at a place you visit regularly, like the store or a restaurant or a business. But picture them in front of you, feel their presence. And then let's practice radiating toward them. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you have peace. Now let's choose a difficult person that isn't natural for you to have compassion for, that is a challenging relationship. Picture them being in front of you. Feel their presence there. And let's use the same phrases. As you radiate from your heart to every cell in their body, may you be safe. May you be happy. May you have peace. This, you might feel some aversion to this, some uncertainty or indecisiveness. This might be a difficult practice. If that's so, that doesn't mean you're failing. This means you're actually succeeding and moving into a space of forming new pathways and new connections here. So stay with the practice, recognize your own feelings of difficulty or aversion, and those are okay. Bring yourself back to these phrases. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you have peace. Notice the feelings, the positive feelings in your heart. Ride the wave of those feelings toward the other person. Also noticing if there's any difficulty there, that's okay. If you want to pause and stay in this space and continue that practice there, feel free, but we'll move to now just all beings in general. Just try to be present with all beings and include them in these phrases, as well as yourself. Radiate from your heart love and kindness. As you say, may we be safe. May we be happy. May we have peace. Now, as you conclude this practice, go ahead and open your eyes while still holding that same quality, those same feelings emanating from your heart, radiating from you. And as you look around, hold on to that quality of in your heart, in and around your heart, as you re-engage with the world. So this is a practice that maybe you even sensed as you were doing it. There are some blockages, there are some difficulties, there's some resistance, and that's totally okay and potentially transformative. That there are some pathways that can be solidified here as we do this practice. Nate, I would love to hear your insights, your experience with this.
Oh, yeah, like that third person that I have hard feelings for, that one's slippery for me, man. It's slippery. Yeah, so I appreciated the build up to that point, because if we just went into that cold, I was like, nope. And I don't know, just the permission to sit with it and relax. I don't know, far too frequently I think we try and fix it or fix our thoughts or fix it immediately, but we can just keep practicing, keep
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's my impression right here.
And it's a challenging practice to get there. Every time I do it and I get to that spot in it, it just shifts for me, and I can feel those barriers.
Right.
And sometimes I find my mind being pulled into thinking about why I have the difficult feelings about that person, right? And then I have to bring myself. So that is a part of the practice, noticing your own thoughts, your feelings. And when you catch yourself being pulled into those thoughts, just returning to the practice and helping your brain forge some new neural pathways. Now, science has, I say science like it's a person, but there are scientific studies that show that practicing this loving kindness meditation improves people's relationships and gives them new capacities and abilities, and helps their own sense of happiness and well-being in life. So that simple practice, as simple as it is, studies show that it can make a real difference. So we'd invite anybody listening to try that out and see what difference it makes for you as you practice that. Anything to add, Nate?
Yeah, just as you move throughout your day and your week, you may not have time to sit down and do the whole thing, but the mantra you use can be really powerful, right? And just remembering, like, maybe, may we be safe, may we be happy, may we have peace, like just letting that be on rerun, like that language in your frontal cortex can really help to set the tone for where you're going there and move that in a good direction.
Yeah, absolutely. And for me, I noticed just that wish and radiating that toward others does something beautiful for me too. Sometimes at a stoplight, I'll pull up and look over at the car next to me and see stress on somebody's face. And that comes to me. May you be safe. May you be happy. May you have peace. And I don't know, if it does anything for the other person, but there's something beautiful that happens to me as that radiates from me. So I'm just grateful for that. This practice has been done for thousands of years. This is meditation is traced back to a Buddhist practice that is just ancient, ancient, ancient. And what a beautiful way to be in the world, right?
Yeah. When we obviously see it in modern Christian practices and other traditions, right there. So let's just go out this week and try it, man. And we're not asking perfection or anything like that. Just try it out and see what vibes come and see how it helps. Thanks so much for being with us. We will see you next time. If this is something that's going well for you, or even if something you feel like it's useful, please share it with your friends. Put it out there and try and spread some light and do some good. And we wish you all the best.